And welcome to the Find Out, Say It Out Loud. We have Cassie Jackson back here. She's outside today. It was raining earlier, so
it was,
apparently,
but yeah, it's a little cooler, and I like to be outside, so I've been trying to change it up.
It's good. Mine is a green screen, so that is a fake picture. Well, actually, that's my Chateau de Marcel house in the background.
John, I've had some people message me that have seen our show that are from Mars Hill. They are really enjoying that.
Oh yeah,
from Mars Hill.
Some people. yeah, there's we get around down here, you know.
There's something about it.
So what do we got this week?
So what I wanted to talk about this week was, I mean, it's, again, I feel like as we move towards this election, we may get less and less local, just to be honest. So I'm going to pop it back out to kind of Project 2025. We don't even really need to get on that so much, but the idea of Christian nationalism, which is what that's about. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is a couple reasons. I'm against it. I have a lot of feelings about it, but I also think that John, is someone that is, spiritual and does identify as religious. And so I really wanted to hear his pushback from someone that I trust in a religion, right? Like, instead of just,
well, I'm no theologian, but, I've been around for a few years and I have studied the Bible and I've, led Bible studies and that, but, what's on your mind about this Christianity?
Well, I mean, thank you, first of all, for being willing to talk about it. And, John's not some kind of expert, but like I said, I'm talking about it with someone that I do trust to give me his real opinion. I'm not saying I can agree with it, but I think we should dig into it. I think one of the things that people are struggling with the most with Christian nationalism is this idea of it being what this nation has been founded on. And so that's the big debate, right? My feeling is that there are a lot of Christians in this country, and that makes sense that maybe people would feel that way, and how, particularly in our kind of states where they're very passionate about their religion, they feel very strongly, they're convicted about something, and a lot of them in congregations want to help. They're being told that these people like me, right, that don't believe, that aren't whatever. When we can get into what they don't believe in, but these others, they are convicted to believe that they are helping people like me by pushing forward with this, that is what Jesus and God has called them to do. And I know there are verses in the Bible about, being a disciple or being someone,
being fishers of men,
right.
The Great Commission. And the Great Commission is go spread the gospel.
That's right.
That is the Great Commission.
I see the big problem is, I don't know if people in the I don't know how much people are understanding what the real downfall and detriment and harm that it could do, because I don't believe that all Christian nationalists get it. And I don't mean because they're not smart. I believe that they think, a lot of them do believe critically that they're helping other people like the Bible tells them to. And so then we get into this situation where, okay, that's your faith, but now we're talking about a country, right? And what do you want to speak to that? Do you want to get into that?
Yeah. I mean, I could say, a couple things just offhand here is, we are the only Bible someone may ever read, meaning that we're the example, and, we're supposed to be Christ-like. If we're a Christian, which is sort of a made up term, because basically we're disciples, because we follow in Christ. So Christians sort of.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never heard that said that way before.
Oh, well, that is the key. And the key is to be, first of all, is to know Jesus' teaching. You need to read all the gospel and you need to learn all the things. And you can boil it down to love God first and treat your neighbor better than yourself. I stepped it up a notch. Better than yourself. And in fact, our lesson with the kids today was be selfless, not selfish.
I love
and
that.
That's tough to do, because man, in this world there's a lot of me.
But it is a lot of me, but culturally we are very selfish as a culture, because there are lots of cultures that are. I'm not saying they're selfless. I'm saying the idea of community is much more powerful. This idea we have of communities raise the kids, we say that, but there are real cultures where I mean, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So. And another thing is that, as disciples, I'll just say that we're not to be judgmental. We're not the judge. I always joke. I said, how do you judge somebody that judges? How do you complain about somebody that complains? How do you, we don't show near enough grace and mercy to somebody, and we don't look at things through their lens of how they are. And then once we get dug into something, I mean, it's like concrete. You start forming an opinion. It sets up. It finally sets up so hard that you can't change your opinion.
But can you see the problem with that? Because both sides are setting up concrete that they think is really strong. And that's the problem, because I think there are calculated pastors like Micah Beckwith. I think there are a lot of willfully ignorant people that have made Project 2025 and are pushing Christian nationalism. However, I think there are really good people, right, that are being, that are getting wrapped up in a situation where they could be abusing others without knowing it. I mean, truly.
Well, I mean,
because if you are trusting of your spiritual leader, and that's why you're going to that church. Like, I do not enjoy church. I go to church because of mainly one pastor, because of what he said a few times where I'm like, okay, I can F with you, and so, but people are not like me generally. People are generally, they have a church home, they have that community. That's important. I know as a professional, that is more than important. Church homes and communities there can be some of the most powerful, resistant factors to mental illness and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not saying that. I just think that it's upsetting to me that the message of really what Christian nationalism can, if it comes to fruition, do for people is not at all Christ-like. I think that point is being missed because they are being encouraged to be these warrior spirits and go against anyone that's saying anything about Christianity. It's anything, right? And so we can't even see grays. The grays are the problem, because there are grays. Like, there are grays in reproductive rights where women are going to die because of laws. I'm not talking abortion. There are grays in reproductive health where women, I'll say it again, will be dying that have nothing to do with taking a pregnancy away. Okay. And those are the kinds of things that I think need to be, hopefully is my goal, so that those Christian nationalists who are trying in their very real way to help bring people to Christ and are being told, if they are resistant, we are a warrior. We are going to persist. So believe, like, you're going to persist through this stuff that doesn't make sense. And it's problematic to me. Sorry, I'll let you go.
Well, I'm just saying that, the Christian nationalism and the titles and all that, and I think what I'm hearing from you is you don't want to be forced. And that is totally against our free will. I mean, that's God gives us the one thing.
And Christianity,
yeah, it's just counterproductive.
When you say you're bringing people and drawing people to Christ, it's not a push. Nobody's talking about pushing. Nobody's talking about forcing. In fact, I have a deep problem with missionary work. I felt better about it just from the people that I'm now hearing about it at my church and how they do it. But I've always, for a long time, had a problem with that. Like, we're going into these cultures who have never experienced the Bible or Jesus, giving them things that can help them, food, supplies, water, healthcare, and then telling them it's from Jesus and that's who they should believe. To me, that's very icky. Again, however, as a human, we also have to remember what I just said in the first sentence was massive, which is they're giving people love and food and water and healthcare, right? And that is what Jesus wants. Yeah, so you can knock them, but if you do it the right way, I feel like it can be authentic. What I don't feel is authentic is doing it the Christian national way, which gets back to your point of this push.
The push. So, give you an example of, we came into the Mars Hill Art Center 10 years ago. We bought our building almost 10 years ago. And we were very mindful to come in and see what people needed. Because a lot of times people will come in from the outside on their white horse. We're going to save so-and-so. We're going to they need this. And that's what I'm hearing from you. They need religion. No, we need to find out what they need. Jesus always went.
That. See?
Jesus always went and served people where they were.
Oh my gosh.
Except for that. Thank you for that. The Sermon on the Mount, I think some people came to. But, after a while, people would come to him and to preach to the masses. And, and we got some serious pushback here. We had some people remonstrate against us, and they just didn't want us. Now they've been quieted. It's pretty much God's moved every one of those people out of the way. If something happened to one of them, was a councilman that got caught messing around with a 13-year-old girl. He's gone. So, I mean, God moves these people out of the way. You just have to let it happen. And to force it, that gets to be, that's where we start getting into a problem. But our country's founded on your you can worship whatever. You can worship that green chair in your backyard if you want to. I'll go for it. I don't care. It's
Thank
a
you.
pretty green chair, by the
And
way.
would you agree that the faith that you seem to have, because that was brilliant, like just preach, I mean, holy, yes, John, but and this is what a pastor who's a previous pastor pushed back on Micah to at a public library board meeting, and it's applicable here. And what he said, I'm not going to use his words. All I remember is the point, which was this: where is your faith, Micah? Like, where has that gone for all of this fear and to be telling people all these horrible, we are to have faith as Christ followers. We are to trust that he is going to lead us out of, and it was powerful to me despite not even, knowing that much about the Bible. But for a pastor to question a pastor on faith, which to me means the definition of like, we could be in crazy situations, and we could be also really sad. We can also be really, and we will believe nonetheless. We will not let that.
There's a word, zeitgeist. That is the sign of the times. It's a German zeitgeist. You might know that from psychology. It's like the times. It's like what they believe in the times.
Yeah.
Well, what they believe in the times, like back in, in David's time, you could have more than one wife type of thing. So it's whatever was the times. So, basically what, if you read the Bible from when Solomon and David and until Jesus came, those generations behaved worse and worse and worse and worse. And I think some people that are Christians that study the Bible, they see our times getting that way with people going away from God. And
that has been happening you realize that comes up
it cycles. It's right. You could even go back to England when England was trying to control religion. They said, screw you guys, we're going to move to America.
That's right. Or slavery. All of these things you can, right. So yeah,
it's like the good
but
old
again,
book
like
says.
That's where the faith thing came in and was powerful to me. Because again, if you're looking back at history, for example, Micah, there have been times where many people have been saying what people are saying now. These are the end of times. Look at this going to crap. Look at all of these structures. Let's point to all the things that are showing us that this is not godly or not the way the Bible. But that is where the faith comes in. If it's the end of times, you still have faith. If the world is going to end, then you build people up, not force them and push them.
Yeah, what you got to remember is that the Israelites, they were slaves for 400 years, so it could take a while for the end of times.
Right.
And they were also promised.
Why are we doing this to our people right now? Because of this election.
It's part of
it. Come on, guys. And if it is the end, again, it's not how we should be behaving in the end. It's not. It's not how religious leaders should be behaving. It's not. You don't bring people by fear. Jesus is not apparently. I would hope is not accepting people that are trying to be saved on fear. Like I've heard from my shout out Madison County group, who are pretty religious. They have told me very recently that Jesus looks at your heart, that Jesus sees your heart. And all of us have different ways of expressing our heart, but that he's the only one that can see it. We are people. So we can say someone has a good heart and you're a kind person, you've done sweet things, or with me, you're a horrible person, you do this, you're divisive. But really, we are just the human eye. Do you know what I mean? And so I don't know where I was going with that. It had something to do with what you were just saying. But
well, I can say this, that
judgment,
always,
I don't know.
Always remember the rain falls on the just as much as it does the unjust, the good and the evil. The rain still, people say, well, I'm such a good person. Why do bad things happen to good people? And the other way around. Why do bad people don't? Because that takes away free will. Because if that comes down to classical conditioning. It's classical conditioning of, if you do this, I give you that. But if there's no, if it's all about free will, do it because you want to, not because you have to. That's the essence of free will. And if you ever think about it, it just seems like this.
That's so helpful, John. Like that made really good sense to my brain. However that.
Well, I try my best. But you think about it. How could this spiritual thing or whatever? How could it be so? Almost, but I almost know, but I don't know. Like there's a Bible verse. It's Ecclesiastes 8:16. Even the wise that think they comprehend, they have no idea what's going on. Mm-hmm. And God uses God's foolishness is better than any man's intelligence. So we always got to remember where we are in this. I think sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and we want to
that is his plan. So if it's his plan for this to be the end of the world, then it is already set in stone. Like, why? If that's happening, what we should truly, if that's truly what people believe, in my opinion, and I don't know what we're supposed to do or what the Bible says to do, but what I would be doing if it were the end of times, and I truly was convicted in that, is I would be loving the shit out of people. All the people that I've ever said anything to, I'd be in their inbox and being like, so this was like, let me. No, nice. I'm not kidding.
Final, like pulling the parachute.
Why would you not want to uplift people around you? Why would you not want to make this a celebratory time? Almost like, well, this is why it doesn't. This is why it's psychological and fear mongering at its height, and it is cyclical. This is not the first time we're acting like, oh, it's the first time. No, it's not. People do this all the time. They're in my opinion, they're using it right now, and Trump will be using it right now to scare.
Well, and I think you're using it right now because you're scared about Trump. You know, it's the same thing.
I'm not saying. I'm saying if it's the end of time,
but everybody's saying, oh, if Trump gets in charge, the world's going to end.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I don't think the world's going to end. I did not say that. I think that.
Well, I know, but I mean, I just lumped everything into one pile.
No, I got it. But let me clarify. The democracy, I do. You're right. Like, I have real fear about that, which I know that you don't, and a lot of people don't. But you're right. Yes, I have real fear that if he is elected, the democracy will fail, and that to me is horrifying. So I do have real fear. I wasn't trying to say that.
I mean, I agree with you on that, and I don't care who's president. This is the thing I see. Our representative that I'm running against for the U.S. House. You know, people say I can't vote for you, but you know what? I can vote for you because I'm going to be going and voting on these things, and I'm going to be talking about these things.
Right.
I'm going to hold whoever's president. I'm going to hold them accountable for this stuff because that's where the power is in the legislature.
Right. That's why I don't understand why people would not want someone like you in there who's literally on as their campaign message is like, no, but I am going to listen to you. P.S. Can you call Andre and ever get him on the phone? You can't. So who's listening?
Yeah, I get people call. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know. So
he's not doing his job. He is going on his mother's curtails or grandmother's is what he's doing. That has become obvious to me. It irritates my soul that we have a Democrat there that's not even invested in talking to the people he's serving and in like engaging anyone, in sitting on his ass with his grandmother's name. Gross, Andre. Sorry, not sorry.
Well,
like, get the F out on the campaign trail and tell people what you're going to do, like John, because I'm tired of it. I am so tired of the Democrats and the Republicans that are just sitting back because they have certain voting populations that will get them in power and not doing anything. It's disgusting.
Now you're preaching.
Andre, you're disgusting, bro. Do some work. You understand it's not just the city, right? You have places flooding, boo, that you're in charge of. Like, you don't want to listen to the community leaders in those places? You look like a fool. You make me angry. You're not listening to the little people. And I'm not saying you're little, John, but you're not listening to all the people.
I'm 6'3".
I mean, like the people in other places that you're not focusing on.
Oh, okay, those people.
Representing. You're a representative of them. Not everyone lives in the city. There's floods going on other places.
Yeah, well, you know, and you know, part of the issue is it happens on both sides. You can't just say.
I know it does,
one,
but I mean,
I'm
I'm
personally connected.
I'm going after the Democrats on the bullshit. I'm tired of it.
Well, hey, I hope everybody gets tired of it. And, you know, if we have a decent candidate, they need to vote him in. But, you know, I go door knocking and I knock on, they have a little app that we can go to the Republicans if we want. I'm like, we're going to all the doors.
Good. Yeah.
We're going all there. Now it takes forever and you'll get some hate mail. Cassie, you believe it, Donna? There's some people out there that give you some hate mail just because you got an R by your name. I'm like, you don't even know me, but you hate me already.
But I do understand that you know, like we talked, it's not right. It's not kind. It's not fair. It's immoral, but it makes sense to me when people in this election, honestly, I hate that for you. But in this election cycle, it makes sense to me intimately that the R behind people's names and then you present as a white man at their door would make them entirely turned off. And that's unfortunate because what they're losing out on is getting to know you. But it does not surprise me. Let's just leave it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and you know, so I knock on the door and I ask him. I said, "How many times has a U.S. congressman been at your front porch?"
Right.
I have not had one. I have not had one yet.
Good.
Not one. And it's, it's refreshing for them to see that. I mean, they've seen school board, they've seen those people, but the higher they go up, the more they get protected. And you hit
That's
something
right.
on the head before about that it's better to say nothing so no one knows your position. So, and your boy Andre right now, he's playing both sides of the fence on the Israel-Palestine thing.
Who is?
Andre Carson, he's playing both sides.
That's not okay. Andre, are you a Zionist? Don't get me started.
I know, I'm just saying.
No.
You've already done enough.
No, don't cut it out. Don't cut it out. I'm going to go for just 30 seconds. Nope, 10. Andre, it is inappropriate as a Democrat to be holding down any kind of Zionist movement. Are you dumb, sir? Because if you do that, you need to go back to my page and watch that. There are not a lot of people in this country, unfortunately, who are versed in the history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. They have been used to supporting Israel and they don't even know why. Maybe you don't know why, and you should know, because you are representing Jewish Americans. And any bit of Zionism that comes out of your mouth, player, I want to know, John, if there's anything that comes out and he says Zionist in a paper and anything, the Zionist next to his name, we're doing a whole show on it. Do you hear me, Andre?
A whole show.
No. A whole,
sure
and then, John, you can talk about Andre. I'll do a whole show on Zionism if you put that in your fucking mouth as a U.S. congressman right now from Indiana as a Democrat. Sorry, you're leaving an F-bomb in, John. I'm so serious. And I want
you're feisty today. You're all fired up.
I got angry. I'm really upset because of what happened to me yesterday, and we can go offline with that. I'm really angry. There's more to that situation. So
yeah, that's man, we've covered it today. Cassie, I hate to tell you this, but we're out of time.
That's fine. No, I think we got a lot. I mean, I feel like I've said what I needed to say. So thank you. And I'm sorry for being late.
Yeah, and I think that, we're getting really close to possibly being able to do a live show because I'm not going to have to edit a whole lot out of this one. So
I even asked you to keep the F-bomb, so you really don't have to edit.
I know. It's okay. It's your show. I put it in there.
I'm trying. Trying to be respectful.
It is what it is, right? We're going to do it. But, this has been an interesting show. Talk about religion and other things and spirituality and all that.
It has been. Can I add one more thing, John? And I'm sorry to do this to you. There is a clip that I had on my page. Sorry, I'm getting a little sweaty outside, but there's a clip that I had on my page that I'm like getting a little like, okay, all right. That I had on my page that I would encourage people to watch. It's gotten over 1,000 views at this point. It is a clip from Bad Religion, which is a documentary out on, I believe, Netflix, maybe another place. It's a clip. It's like 30 seconds. And what I will just say from it is a pastor. It is a Christian nationalist pastor who was in that, right? And then saw that from the inside and was uncomfortable with it. And now is working with a Christian pastor. And I'm going to forget his name, but he is a Black man. He's a Christian pastor. And that man works with rabbis, all kinds of interfaith, right? And what he said was so powerful to me. And I think you may resonate with it, John. What he said to me is, it is an abdication of my faith as a Christian leader to not remind politicians that when they sign legislation, that's a moral document, that if they are signing and they are taking away healthcare from sick people and they are taking away services from poor people, that they are fundamentally going against the values of Christianity, which are peace, justice, love, and mercy. And that to me, John, I got full body goosebumps.
Yeah, well,
that is where I want pastors, of all religions, to really look and really dig, because that to me was powerful.
I think it's time for a revival. Of what we're back to the basics of Christianity. It boils down to a couple things, right? Love God first, love your neighbor better.
Right. And also that we got to mention, and this needs to stay in, those are not principles unique to Christianity. Those are principles that are in every. No, I know you're not saying that. I just want to be really clear because of this episode. Those are in almost all religions. And so in saying that, in following those principles of Christianity, you're also following other tenets of Judaism, of Islam, of all kinds of different religions. And so in saying that, how could we ever say that or Christianity is just better? You can't. And you need to respect everyone's faith, because everyone's who's really trying in their faith are going to be living by those tenets. I mean, they're in every.
Yeah, and we got to remember we have perfect religion and we have imperfect people, and we want it to be perfect. So let me finish you on this. This is a prayer I did.
Thank you, John, for letting me add that.
Yeah, that's okay. Let me finish this up. I said a prayer for National Day of Prayer, Channel 40, probably 5-6 years ago now. I said, I talked about the golden rule about love your neighbor as you would yourself. And it said, if everyone was to do that, there wouldn't be anyone hateful left in the world.
No, really gonna love. All right. You're gonna love them all. All right, I'll move. Okay, you're gonna love them all. That's
That's
fine.
right. Yeah.
I'll step back. I'll be quiet. I couldn't believe it was almost real, and it freaked me out, honestly. And that's what you're getting to is like that shouldn't be a reaction from like normal people to be like, this is weird that people are being so kind. You know what I mean? And it is.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
it's
not
like,
right.
what do they want
What are you
from
gonna
me?
do? You know,
Well, yeah,
like,
what
what
do
are
they
you?
want from me? Yeah, what do they want? So, all right. Well, say
All right.
goodbye till next week.
Yeah. Yep. It was good to see you, John. Thanks so much. Appreciate
All
you.
right. See ya.